look, in sports, it is hard to come to a consensus about the greatest anything. People are going to argue about it, going to fight about it. Everybody's got their favorites.
Yeah.
I do think our guest today is at least in the discussion in his category, by which, of course, I mean Julius Peppers, one of the best intramural basketball players in the history of the village.
Hands down.
Yeah, I mean, well,
hang the jersey up there,
he's
baby.
in the discussion. Might not be the best, but I mean, he's on the list with like that old guy who used to play in the noon game.
Well, I mean, I'm top 10. I'll give it top 10. It was a lot of good ballers that come through Woolen, though.
In the discussion.
Yeah.
In the discussion.
Once that intramural basketball career didn't work out, what you been doing with yourself since then?
You know, been playing a little football. Played a little basketball outside of Woolen a little bit. Played a little football. So it's been going pretty good, man. Everything is good. Had a few kids since then, so just lifing, man, doing life.
Obviously, we're excited that Julius Peppers is joining us here in Pod World headquarters. And Pep's here to be honored for all the things that he's been honored for. He's, of course, in the College Football Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and one of the best all-time Tar Heels on the football field for sure. Pep, how did all this happen, man? I mean, Adam and I have been to Bailey, North Carolina. We tried to stop there to get something to eat after a baseball game one time, and like everything was closed because it was 9 o'clock. So how did one of the best defensive ends to ever do this come out of Bailey?
You know, I come from humble beginnings. Very small town, very not a lot of people there, but it was a loving place. And it wasn't a lot to do, so I had a lot of time to practice and hone my skills outside, shooting on the basketball goal by myself, throwing the ball up in the air to myself, practicing kickoff returns and stuff like that, juke moves. So I had a lot of free time just to practice and do what I did outside.
Mac Brown likes to tell this story, and I've got my own story. I saw Southern Nash play, I think, Grimsley in high school football, and there was a tailback named Julius Peppers. Mm-hmm. He had a lot of yards after contact. Did anyone ever cleanly tackle you the first time when you were carrying the football for Southern Nash?
Well, I don't think so. Most of the time it was, gang tackling or somebody would get me, one person would hit me and then somebody would come hit the legs, and it usually it'd take like 2 or 3 to get me down. But I don't remember being tackled one-on-one very, very too often.
Just swatting guys
I don't think it ever happened. Yeah,
that's how it has to happen.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about, and I know you got a lot to do. So I want to start with, did you ever in your mind think Hall of Fame? Like putting on the jacket, got the bust, like all of it. Was that ever in your mind? And then what's that moment like?
So, short answer to the question is no. I never thought about Hall of Fame. I just came to practice and went into the games just to do the work. I just did the work for 17 years, just trying to be a professional and put my best foot forward, right? And then one day at the end of it, I looked up. I was 4th all-time in sacks, all of this other stuff, all of these other accolades and stuff like that, and people was talking about Hall of Fame. It was never really a goal of mine, and that's never what I strived for. I just wanted to be a great teammate. That was the goal.
What was that moment like?
It was surreal. Well, when I first found out, I found out at home. I heard somebody banging on my door at like 8:30 at night. It was dark outside, so I'm like, who's at my house?
I was ready to fight. He was like, all right, we got to do this. I'm ready.
No, I need to grab a weapon or something. So I peep around the corner, and there's Bruce Smith standing there with his gold jacket on.
Wow.
So I come outside, open the door. He's like, he do the whole thing, welcome to the Hall of Fame and all of this. So it was a crazy moment. It was surreal, and the whole enshrinement in August, that was exciting. That was like the crowning moment, or like the moment that it happened. So it was a whirlwind.
Were you nervous to give the speech?
I wasn't, actually. I wasn't. I don't know if you guys have heard before, but I'm not really a big talker. So it was something natural. I was just natural up there to give the speech. It wasn't really nerve-wracking at all.
I don't think you need to grab a weapon when you go to the door. I feel like just opening the door, you're good.
Probably. Yeah. Probably covers the bases.
Yeah, I think that's the weapon that you need. I think one thing about you from the time you were here until the time you were finished playing is you never seem very impressed with the accolades that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What are you proud of that you accomplished?
In sports?
In general.
Just in general, my crowning achievement or the best thing that I've done so far in life is be a dad. That's the thing that I'm most proud of. My 3 kids, I have a great relationship with them. I'm doing my best I can to raise them with the values and trying my best to raise them the right way. So that's the thing that I'm most proud of. In sports, I mean, now it's a Hall of Fame. I'm a Hall of Famer. It still sounds kind of weird to say that. I'm an NFL Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Famer. But outside of that, it's definitely the kids, man. Trying to raise these kids the right way.
I have to imagine they're not giving you much lip. Like, there's not a whole lot of talk back from the Peppers kids.
Well, I mean, I have a 16-year-old.
Okay, so maybe there's a little talk.
So yeah, it's a little talk back. Yeah.
Take us through. Let's start with why Carolina. Why was Carolina the right spot for you when you were trying to make your decision on where you wanted to go to college?
Carolina was the right fit for me for a number of reasons. You know, my last 3 schools I was down to here, Michigan and Florida State. I used to like Florida State a little bit. When Charlie Ward was playing and work done and those teams, right? Oh, yeah. And Woodson was just coming off the Michigan was coming off the Charles Woodson thing, and Michigan is just Michigan, right? Sure. So, but Carolina just always felt like the right place. When I would come here, it was something special about the feeling that I would get when I went into Kenan Stadium. When I came over to the Smith Center to watch games, and I had a good recruitment. My coach, Donnie Thompson, was a great recruiter. Yeah. So, So
that helped.
Yeah, that helped a lot.
The way you said that makes me feel like there's some Donnie Thompson recruiting stories that we need to hear. What made him such a good recruiter?
I mean, he was just persistent. And I'm thankful for him basically exposing me to this campus, exposing me to these people, the coaches, and just the culture here in Chapel Hill. It ain't really too many crazy stories, but he had a gift for recruiting.
When you got here to Carolina, were you concerned at all that it might not translate? Like, you knew you were good at Southern Nash. Were you worried about whether you'd be good in college football?
I was because when I was recruited, I was recruited as an athlete. I wasn't recruited as a position. They just wanted me to come. They was like, we don't know what you're going to play yet. Just come here and be on the team.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later. So, I was like, so when I got here, they was like, all right, well, let's try him at tight end. So when I was at tight end, Algie Crumpler was here, all ACC, Alum Mogridge, Dante Finger. I was like 4th or 5th on the depth chart. So I had doubts. One day I went up to Coach Thompson, who I had a good relationship with. He recruited me. He was coaching defensive ends at the time, who they had put Greg Ellis, Vonnie Holiday, Ebenezer Ekuban, a lot of guys going to the league over here, right? So I went to his office one day. Hey, Coach, I don't know if tight end is going to work for me, man. I don't know. Maybe, I think I ought to give it a try at defensive end. He was like, okay, all right, let's try it. The next day, I was rushing the quarterback, and then, I started gaining confidence as I started to learn the game more.
Like, normal people don't just show up to Carolina basketball and be able to play and to help and to contribute. What was that process like? How did you decide that was something you want to do, and how were you able to do it?
So it's a long story. I'm gonna shorten it up a little bit. The Woolen days, right, of going up at the practice or whenever we had free time, just playing pickup ball in Woolen, I would go up there and some of the players would be up there. Ed would be up there, Ed Coda. A few times Vince and Anton would come through. Just players, different players that was on the team at the time. And word started getting around that there was this football player that could play a little bit. So
was it Alan Mogridge?
So
Deion Dyer was
So, I was playing and stuff like that. One day, hold on, let me back it up real quick. They recruited me in high school, Carolina basketball. Coach Smith, Coach Guthridge, Phil Ford, they came to a couple of games. So they were already familiar with me. And so, but when I got here, they wanted me to try out for the JV team and, just, I guess, get a little bit more experience, see what I could do on JV. So I went to practice one day for JV, and, it wasn't what I envisioned, myself doing at the time. So I didn't come back. So that's when I started going to Woodland, right? And then, Ed, basically I got to give a lot of credit to Ed because he was the one who put his neck on the line for me. He would come back and tell Coach Guthridge, like, look, I think we can use this guy. He can help us. So they sent a message to me to come down one day and try out. So I came down. I had a good practice, and the rest was history. I was on the team.
Okay, now let's get this on the record. Now, Jason Capel says a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're not sure if what he's saying is accurate. He says your last day at JV basketball was the day they took the team picture and rolled out these 1970s uniforms with the short shorts. And he said that was the last day they ever saw Pep at JV basketball practice. Is that what happened?
That is true. I gotta give it to him. That's true. It wasn't because of the uniforms, though.
That was not on the
list. Yeah, it wasn't because of the uniforms, but the uniforms were tight, though. They were small. Yeah.
I can kind of imagine Bill Guthridge saying to you, Julius, we would like you to come try out, but then I really would like to see the looks on the faces of the other JV guys when you come walking through the tunnel. Yeah. Well, there's one less spot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember really the whole how it went down, but I thought that practice that I tried out for JV, I thought I did good in that one too. It was all right. I thought it went all right, but I had other things that I wanted to do.
So then how'd we take it to getting to see Julius Peppers on the varsity team?
So that's what I'm saying. So Ed would come down and vouch for me with the coaches. And like I said, I came down. I had that practice. I tried out with the varsity team. They let me practice with them. And I had a good day that day. And after practice, Coach Gut was like, yeah, all right, you're on the team. Come on back. You're on the team now. So I started that next day.
Okay, I want to ask you about a couple football things, but since we're on basketball, I'll ask you specifically about this. One of Adam's favorite all-time plays is the Ronald Curry alley-oop to you against Wake Forest in the Smith Center. Mm-hmm. Then Dave Odom made the mistake of calling timeout, and they kept replaying it on the big screen. Everybody just got more hyped during that timeout. Do you remember this play and what was happening from the Peppers' point of view on this play?
Oh, all right. So AAU basketball.
Yeah.
Me, Chris Lang, Brenda Haywood were on the same team. Right, and we were on the same team with a lot of guys from Wake Forest too. Irvin Murray. I don't know if you guys remember these names. Irvin, Josh Howard, Antoine Scott.
Pretty decent AAU teams.
So so it was those guys at Wake Forest, and it was us at Carolina. So it was a little something going on right there. Right, it was a little chirping going on throughout the games and stuff like that. It was all friendly. It wasn't nothing, personal, nothing like that. It was all friendly. But we knew those guys. We grew up with those guys. So anyway, on a fast break, I see Ronald with the ball. He's going 100 miles an hour. He's, what I'm saying? It looked like he's out of control, losing the ball. And I'm running on the left sideline coming down. And I think he sees me out of the corner of his eye, pointing up, throw it up, just throw it up there somewhere. And he was able to get control of the ball, right, and just toss it up there. And then, I just went and got it. It was just one of those things. It didn't matter where that ball was at, I was gonna go get it. And once I scored the basket, it was the whole place went crazy. It was crazy, and I was just lost in that. It was that was one of my favorite moments.
You're one of the very few people that can answer this question. what would get the adrenaline going more, like a big sack or a big dunk? Like, which one got you a little more pumped?
Basketball is my passion. That's my first love. So I'm going to say the dunk. But it could be, it depends on the situation in the football game.
Sure.
If it's a sack fumble and we get the ball, then, you know, and it's on a third down in a big moment in the game, it could be either or. But for this purpose, I'm saying basketball because I just love the game. I love the game.
Could you play in the NBA, you think?
I think so. If I would have dedicated my time and resources to basketball, I think so. I actually got a clip of somebody did like a little thing for Hall of Fame, kind of like a mini doc, and they went interviewing people from my past sports life about all of this stuff, basketball, here, football, Panthers, everywhere, my whole career. And we got Coach K on record saying that I could have went to the league if I had tried basketball. So I'm going to go with that.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the first positive thing about him in 9 years of this show. What a monumental day. I think the first time people realized that you weren't just an athlete basketball player, you were an actual basketball player, was that 2000 NCAA tournament game against Tennessee. When
Stanford and then Tennessee, back to back.
When Carolina needed some depth in the post and they roll out Julius Peppers and the nation just knows you, is that football guy? And then it turns out, he can play. What do you remember about that stretch? And on the way to the Final Four?
I remember Stanford being, I think, one of the top teams in the country that year with the Collins. They had Collins and Mad Dog Madsen, and Phil Ford was like, we're going to put you on him. Mad Dog, because he was just like this ferocious guy. He got all the rebounds. Nobody could do anything with him. They was like, we got something for him. We're going to put you on him.
That dude was all of a sudden, he was a Carolina JV member from back in the day. That's what he felt like.
Poor old Mad Dog was like, I'm just a puppy.
So, that was up my alley. Like all of that, that physical banging and stuff, that was right up my alley. So it was just a good matchup for me. That was a good matchup for me. The big boys in Tennessee, same thing, same type of thing. It was kind of like a timely situation because I provided what the team was missing at that time. So it was just like a good match at that time.
Football-wise, a lot of what's happening during your time at Carolina. Multiple different coaches, obviously. What do you remember about your time here? How do you think it helped you? I mean, there are obviously some great games, the Florida State game here, and your performance against Oklahoma. I remember had that pick six in that game. But what do you remember? What jumps in your mind when you think about your time? By the way, you're awesome when you got your own towel. When it's like hot in here and Pep's got his own branded towel that he's going to wipe off with.
Yeah. Man, if you had NIL, you would have been all over that. Come on now.
But what are your thoughts from your football time? I know it wasn't as stable here as you would have liked for it to have been.
So Matt Brown recruited me in high school all through, him and Coach Thompson. When he left, to Texas, I didn't want to go to Texas. I didn't really know much about Texas. I didn't even know they was a football powerhouse. I didn't know anything about that at the time. So I decided that I wanted to stay here because I had already gave a commitment. I knew that this was where I was supposed to be at. So, my first coach was Carl Torbush. And more than anything that I remember about those games and about my time here in football is like the relationships and the people that I was around. Like Carl Torbush, the coaches, Coach Thompson, Coach Ken Browning, Moody, Tommy Thigpen. Like the faces and the names and the memories and the relationships built are what strikes me and what's more important to me than any really of the memories of the games. We had good games. I made a few plays out there, but it's more so about the people, man. It's always more so about the people, with me, more so than the games and the plays and stuff like that.
Have you had any moments during all this stuff you've done that you've looked around and thought, I can't believe I'm here? whether it's on the field in the NFL or on the stage at the Hall of Fame.
Maybe right here on this podcast right now.
In Pod World headquarters. Has there ever been a moment where you thought, wow, this is actually happening to me?
Yeah, it's always something. It's always something. When I got here, it was Carolina basketball. That was a dream of mine. I grew up watching, all of the greats come through. In high school, it was Stack and Sheed and, Donald Williams and them. So when I got here and I was on the team, that was one of those moments like, yo, I'm really here on the team getting ready to run out and do warm-ups in a real game. So that was one of those moments. The Hall of Fame, standing on that stage in front of everybody with Marcus Allen and Mean Joe Green and Len Swan and everybody sitting behind me waiting for me to speak. Like, that was one of those moments. Like, yo, is this real? I just went through that. That was a surreal moment.
What do you think today's college player doesn't understand about what it takes to play at the level you did for the length of time you did?
The times change, the game changes, the kids change, everything changes, right? I think one thing is commitment. We got, and I'm not knocking the kids, for using what's available to them, but the portal from kids hopping from here to there and everywhere else, from school to school. I think the lack of commitment shows a little bit. The lack of being in a program and developing shows. So all of that's kind of tied in together. The professionalism, being where you're supposed to be on time, doing what you're supposed to do in the weight room. And I'm saying all of this now as a 44-year-old man, right? At the time, I was doing some of the same stuff, So, but, as I got older, I started learning these things, putting it together, taking care of your body, eating right. All of it, it's so many things that we know now in our years of wisdom that, sometimes falls on deaf ears and it's hard to get through to the young kids. But, I think all of those things they could take notes on.
Speaking of getting through to the kids, your kids aren't coming from the same background that you came from. How do you make sure, just as a dad, that they've got some of those same values that you learned in Bailey, even though they're not growing up in Bailey? Yeah,
it's tough. It's really tough. And I don't even know how I'm going to do it, to be honest with you. Just to be straight up honest, it's a tough job. I try my best to not try to solve problems for them and give them everything that they don't earn. So, I don't know, like I said, the times are different. Parenting is different now. And we doing the best that we can. So, I grew up waking up at 6:37 in the morning, getting ready to go to a tobacco field and crop tobacco and pick cucumbers and, do sweet potatoes and stuff like that. They that's foreign to them. They don't understand that world and that life. So we got to try to create something to try to get them to teach them responsibility and teach them, how to be independent in the world. So we still working on that.
Did you pick tobacco?
Yeah.
My mom says that's the hardest, hottest work that there is.
It is. It is. I credit that to my work ethic and my determination because it was just this is summertime in North Carolina, and it's tobacco field. Yeah, it's tough work. So, but I'm glad I did it. I think it hardened me up.
We'd love to keep you forever, but I know you got a bunch going on. What does it mean for you to be here this weekend and to be honored here in all the various ways that are occurring in Chapel Hill?
Yeah, it means everything. This is a special place to me. It always has been, always will be. It's an honor to be back on campus. I was just in there seeing basketball practice a little bit, just reminiscing about the days, wishing that I could probably get out there and make a layup or something. But it's a special place, man. I'm so honored to be back. I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. Hopefully we can get a win. And yeah, it's just nice to be back. It's nice to be back, see all these guys, Rick Steinbacher, Dwight Hoyer, and everybody's taking care of me, so we're loving it.